WP, you are a hero, but you have no tragic backstory. Nobody believes you when you say that your village is fine and that your mentor is eagerly awaiting your first letter home. Griselda the Harrow's face against the flickering campfire light betrayed her true emotions as she recounted her childhood to her fellow heroes. I was 5 when the beasts of evil burden attacked. Being poor, we lived on the outskirts. My parents sacrificed everything, toiling day in and day out to ensure we met our agricultural quota for our Mad King Leonith, who, although not knowing at the time, began to fall under the Dark Lord Maketh's evil hold. We should have seen them coming. The orcs and other foul creatures. They encroached freely on our lands in smaller numbers at first, but then large platoons began marching like they owned the fucking kingdom. My parents hid me in time, but my little brother was not so lucky. The hiding space was only large enough for one, and he was so scared that he gave up his cover. I had to watch in silence while the orcs and werewolves slaughtered my family. My little brother tried his hardest not to look at my hiding place as he was ripped to shreds. He was so brave and strong. Her voice trailed off and tears began flowing freely as she gripped her sword. A family heirloom. She didn't know it, but it was imbued with magical properties granting bravery and enhancing combat abilities for its user. Should they be noble of heart? Long since had the stories been passed down through her family, forgotten and lost in the recesses of time. Anathemis the Scarred nodded with closed eyes in agreement. He had undergone a similar story, except it was his brother who betrayed his once wealthy and honorable family, becoming the Dark Lord's second in command. As he had just recounted to the group before Griselda's tragic tale, everyone now looked toward Anthony the Titleless, who had yet to share his story. Gargan the Stalwart let out a raspy and gruff comment. Tell us, Anthony. What do they call you? And what is your story? They all listened with patient and open ears. Anthony was sweating. Not at all because of the fire. No. He was sweating because he had lived a rather boring life. So I guess my story begins at a young age. I always had a fascination with swords, and I was a natural climber, able to traverse difficult terrain virtually from birth. He let out a nervous chuckle. So the village knights took notice of my interests and offered to train me. My parents were initially apprehensive, but after some convincing, they let me pursue my talents. I progressed incredibly rapidly. By age 8 I had surpassed all the swordsmen in the kingdom. That's when I met my mentor and second father figure, Master Seraph, a legendary swordsman and magician. He trained me in all 3 of the mystical sword arts, as well as the 2 forbidden ones. I trained for years, and my parents were impressed as well as they could be. They had no appreciation for such things. My mother is a baker and my father an accountant for local businesses. Anyways, is there a post office where we are going? I think my family and mentor are eagerly awaiting news of my exploits. The group was silent. Gargan coughed before Anathemis blurted out, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Anthony was immediately regretful. He should have made up a sob story. "I'm sorry." What, he eked out sheepishly. "You literally have no trauma. Nothing. No motivator for being a hero." Anathemis was bellowing at this point. Griselda blurted out urgently, "Can you keep it down? We don't know whose." She couldn't even finish before an arrow whizzed past her ear. Anthony stood up immediately and say, "I'll take care of this one." They actually hadn't seen any action up until this point. They set out only a week ago. And frankly, Anthony was getting antsy to put his well-honed skills to good use. In a flash of light, he was gone. All the group could see were various flashes. Some red, some white. A bit of lightning here and there as Anthony deftly carved through what was intended to be a stealth assassination and reconnaissance squad sent by Anathemis' brother. All settled before Anthony returned with a truly grotesque and barely human head. "Hey, not Phil, nothing, but is there a reason this thing looks like you, Anathemis?" "No offense," he stammered the last bit. Anathemis stared at the visage that was surely his brother's, warped by dark magic. He promptly vomited. "Sorry, I honestly thought twice about slaying him when I saw. Figured you'd want to be the one to settle the score." Anathemis did not at all. His brother was truly terrifying. A force of nature. The fact that the Dark Lord sent his brother after them was enough to scare him. Ororexis. His brother's old name. Was skilled in dark magic and particularly cruel. Yet Anthony cut through him as if he was a low-level peon. Along with his elite hit squad. It's fine, he sulked. It really was. His brother scared the shit out of him. Well, alright guys. You get some rest. First watch is on me, Anthony the Mundane said cheerily. Here's my attempt. I'm sorry if I strayed off the topic a bit at the end. I really enjoyed this prompt, as he lies on top of me. With his sword pressing against my neck. I fail to feel sad or scared. An unusual feeling bathes me and mutes the pain coming from my limbs nailed to the floor with magic daggers. I'm living the last minutes of my life. Or better said, my afterlife as an undead vampire. I'll soon cease to exist. But I can't resist satisfying the curiosity that lingers inside me from the time I was a mere human. I open my mouth to speak. Before words come out, I once again thank my undead body for avoiding the inconvenience of choking on my own blood. I could deliver an entire monologue while my head is being cut off, and the mere thought of it makes me chuckle a bit. Hero. It took 600 years for someone of your might to step inside my castle and best me. It's not like there was a runner-up even. I've swatted like flies every other bag of blood and bones that have called themselves a hero. I almost believe my defeat today was in no small part due to my lack of practice. So it intrigues me. And I beg you indulge me a little given my overwhelmingly disadvantageous position. As I want to ask you a question before my existence fades away. From the ashes of which charred village did you emerge? Were you able to find the vicious lackey of mine who murdered your parents? Or perhaps your loved one? Are you able to taste revenge right now, or is the lack of my blood coating your blade proving to be unsatisfying? The chopping stops and the unpleasant sound of metal slicing meat gets replaced by that of agitated breathing. We make eye contact. Drops of sweat fall on my cheeks. I am unsure if my adversary was able to hear my plea. I prepare myself to repeat my queries but get interrupted before I start. What are you talking about? If you gonna talk, save me some time and tell me where you hide your gold. I don't blame you for not paying attention to my ramblings. I just want to know more about the one who took my head. What journey did you took to stand against me? How long have you held your grudge and when did it start? Have we perhaps met before when you were nothing but a small boy? Seeing their village being pillaged by my forces? I don't know what you're talking about. I just took the quest because it had the biggest reward. I'm saving up for a new wagon. Those things expensive. I assume you are mocking me. I can understand your desire to humiliate me after you have confirmed your victory. But I request you take this seriously. If only to honor the sanctity of our duel. Although sanctity is not a word you would associate with a creature of the night and evil like myself. But I do believe courtesy is a common language amongst all higher level combatants. Look, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm just going to keep chopping. I'll try to make this quick. I'm not enjoying this either. No. Please. I can't bear to die feeling I was defeated by a complete stranger. Please provide me the truth. I fear this doubt could cling to me and drive me to remain in this castle as a haunting spirit. I can't afford such a downgrade. I really don't know what you want from me. I left my village last Tuesday and I expect to be back by Sunday. We have a football match against those wood elves from that treetop village and my team doesn't really have a sub for me. I'm the goalkeeper. You see. This is outrageous. The mightiest heroes of your kind have dedicated their entire lives to the mere chance of leaving a scar on one of my guards, and you are expecting to finish me within the week? I've never been so insulted. And how come creatures of the lowlands can engage in sports while my forces raise your lands? Well, there hasn't been much raising going on. Being honest. I mean, maybe a bit in the small villages at the foot of your mountain. But most people just move to the forest and your imps kind of don't like going there. Maybe they bump into the trees too much. I can't believe this. What about the reports from my generals? All those bags filled with disembodied heads and all the gold-filled treasures that get presented to me? I wouldn't know. Do you actually check those bags? Maybe they have like watermelons or something. As for the gold, some of the villagers actually trade with demons fairly often. I'm wearing demon crafted boots right now. Pretty comfy. I haven't actually checked the bags for a while now. I haven't done any raising myself either. I was busy, you know, reading and learning that chess game that got seized by my troops. But back in the old days I did burn down plenty of villages. Crops included. Drank blood from the daughters of chieftains and all of that. I guess not recently. No. Not recently. Well. There you go. The guild put a request in place to get rid of you. I guess they intend to take the castle and restructure management a bit. They are fairly convinced your imp's homicidal tendencies are mostly a product of hostile top-down leadership. I see. I don't want to hear any more. Do your deed, mighty hero, and carry on with your life. At least make sure you tell the story of the time you faced off against the Lord of the Night and came up victorious. Of course I will. Rewards include a bat sticker for my helmet. Good conversation, Stater.